Yo, 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 yo. Happy Monday. Your boy's back. Yeah, I took last week off because it was a holiday on Monday and I had like a super busy week last week, so I didn't have time to actually make up the stream. But here we are now. I made it back here on Monday. Starting a little bit later than usual because I decided to get all my shit together today. I was out in Salt Lake City this past weekend with the homies Foxed and Chuck Shadow. We played a show over Salt Lake City at what was the venue called again? Pure Point, something or other. Pure Point, Project Pure Point. There you go. But yeah, it was a good time. Really cool people. Really nice, pretty nice turnout. Um, yeah, and then we fucking drove, so it was it was a long drive going there to Salt Lake City and back. It's like a 8 to 9 hour drive, and then on the way back there was like a trailer truck that like caught fire, so we were stuck in traffic for like a full hour on the way back from Salt Lake City, which was crazy. But any hoops, hope you guys had a good weekend. Hope you guys had a good Monday, good start to your week. We are back once again. Um, yeah, the tunes we got here. We got Daydream. Okay, I'll make sure to refresh yours. Actually, Gus, you're the first one up, by the way. Um, we got Fresh Cut Freaks. We got Tommy Gun from Phantasm. We got Two On free download for myself. We got Searching on Prime Audio. We got um, our VIP compilation. We got Pop Rocks. Did I put Pop Rocks in here? Oh, I did put Pop Rocks in here. Nice. And then lastly, we have our anniversary compilation. Um, Yo, what? What's up, Pharaoh Amjad? Um, what's up, Revibe? Yeah, go check out all those tunes. The anniversary compilation comes out this Friday. That's with Fox, Rhiannon Rose, Hotfire, myself, Apotheca, Chuck Shadow, You New, Broshi, Tones, Disco. Lots of really dope tunes, lots of bass house, lots of garage on that. All right, and then we got plenty of shows coming up. Yo, hell yeah, brother! Thanks for the follow. Oh yeah, we just passed 1,000 followers at the last stream, by the way. So yeah, thanks to everybody who is following now. We got over 1K followers on Twitch. Hell yeah. Um, yeah, so we got some fucking dope shows coming up. We have our anniversary party this Tuesday, tomorrow. It's actually my birthday on Wednesday, so I'm playing Space Taco at midnight. So I'll technically be playing on my birthday. The guys are If you guys are out in the area, LA, Pomona, come through. It's free. And then we're doing our warehouse party. Um, doing our warehouse party this Saturday after hours, downtown LA. We got Choli, Confront, myself, Lady Meow, Phantasm from Boston, and Rhiannon Rose. And then the next 2 weeks I'll be on the road. I'm going to be out in Canada for the first time. I'm going to be in Calgary um, next Saturday, the 13th. Oh, no, that's a Friday. Sorry, June 13th. I'll be in Calgary the whole weekend though. But yeah, playing a show in Calgary next Friday the 13th. Dang, Friday the 13th. I didn't know that was the 13th. How crazy. Anyways, I digress. And then on the 21st, I'm going to be in Denver. Me and Rhiannon Rose playing Tattoons in Denver. So yeah, it's a pretty dope schedule. I also have another show in Vegas at the end of June. So really, really thick June. Basically, this is just like a beginning of a tour. I just released the dates for the first month. I have some more dates coming out in July and August. So keep an eye out for that. I'm going to be playing more stuff in LA as well as other cities. So yeah. And then our sponsor, per usual, is Eargasm. If you guys need earplugs, go cop some. Use the code Phantom10 for 10% off. All right. All right. We got Young Gus up first. Yeah, before I get started here, I think for those of you who haven't been here before, the way this goes is I take these first come first serve as they appear on the Google form. You guys are more than welcome to submit tunes there on the Google form. If you want to skip the line, you can skip the line. Did I put? Oh, I guess I didn't put a skip thing. I swear I did that. Let me just add that in real quick. But yeah, if you guys want to skip the line, you can either use your channel points or you can or send money on the bottom left there. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. Entirely up to you. Oh, I have a skip timer, but I don't have an actual skip thingy. Here we go. I'm just gonna add it as a command. That way you guys can always bring it up if you need to. Okay. Oh, I do have a skip command. What the hell? It says I do. Oh, it's not working. How weird. How strange. Pineapple pizza. Pineapple pizza. Sorry guys, I'm getting distracted here, but trying to make this happen. Skip is already used. It says it's already used. That's really strange because I don't have a skip here. Skip. It's very strange. But anywhoops, you guys know, if you guys want to skip the line, you can use your channel points or you can send money to the bottom left over there. Totally up to you guys. All right, let me go through the queue right now so you guys know where you're at. You have to be in the chat in order for you guys to get your music reviewed, so be sure to stick around. First up, we got Crossfades. Then we got DJ Cast, Farron Amjad, Reese, Leonard Ellis, Dark Glossy, Longboy, Chris Michael, Alexander, BMOC. Again, that's the order that we got. And that's the order I received these tracks in. If you guys want to skip the line, use your channel points or send money to the bottom left. Here we go. Oh, that's right. You wanted me to refresh this, right? Okay, let's do it. Nice one, bruv. Yeah, this is a sick. This is definitely a lot more, I would say, commercial sounding than most of your other stuff, but I don't think that's, I don't mean that in a bad way at all. I think it definitely, this tune definitely has a lot more mass appeal. Not to say that your other music doesn't. It's just that this one feels a lot more commercial. I think it would definitely, this one could definitely be played in a lot more venues and spaces. It would probably, pick up a lot of really nice support on streams and stuff too. But yeah, this is a really dope idea. And the only reason why I say it sounds more commercial is because like the vocal kind of leans into that a little bit more, I think. But I really fuck with this. Very nice bass line, super solid groove here. Loving the drums. I'm loving the accents on the bass line too. You got this very subtle kind of filter going in at the very end of the phrases that kind of just opens up a little bit more and gives it a little bit more power and kind of flavor and character. I really like this vocal. Again, I put here it feels more commercial than most of your other stuff, which is really cool. It's a nice change up. I really dig the drops. Drop one is very nice. Definitely does a good job of introducing all of the different sounds you got going on. Nice little ear candy stuff. The vocal. You keep a lot of really nice momentum and variations moving forward through that entire drop. I'm loving the breakdown, the second breakdown. You add in a lot of really cool layers and vocal stuttering, which is really nice. It's a nice little touch you got there. And then a bunch of other different like synth layers that kind of come in, kind of just adding in some more character and flavor there. And I really dig the second drop. The second drop feels definitely different from the first one. Has a lot more energy and kind of just some more variations in there. Some nice new introduction of layering in there. I think probably my only piece of feedback is probably just like the vocal at the end here. It does feel a bit repetitive, I guess. And that's just me being picky. I really didn't have anything else, to kind of like pinpoint in this track that needed to be kind of like changed or updated or anything. So yeah, I mean, and that's me being picky, trying to find something that you can potentially work on. But reality is, this tune basically sounds like it's done. I really wouldn't change much on it. If you wanted to, you could mess around with the vocal phrasing at the very end there. But other than that, like everything else here sounds fucking fantastic. It sounds great. Is this an OG or is this like a remix? Or what's going on here with this one? Either way, very well done. Crossfades, Young Gus. This is a dope one. It's a collab. Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, man. This one sounds basically like it's pretty much ready to start shipping out to labels. I'm sure plenty of labels would want to take this too. Whoops. All right. Good job, Crossfades. Really dope tune here. Really digging the vibes. Keep it going. Definitely, you definitely have something cool here. All right. Next up, we got BMOC. Skip the line. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right. Let's do it. Nice one. You know, what I immediately thought of when that second, like, I guess it's like a bridge, you know? Could be a bridge. I don't really would I really wouldn't consider that second section another drop. It feels more like a bridge or a build. But regardless, it reminded me of Doom when the Doom music when the Doom music kicks in. Guys, you guys have to know what I'm talking about. It's basically a meme at this point. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, dude, that I think that's really fucking cool, honestly. Um, yeah, no, it's I think it's really fucking well done. It's really sick. I really dig this whole kind of like section right here. But I do think it's again, I don't it doesn't feel like it's actually a drop. It feels like it's more like a bridge. So I think you could actually obviously you could still use this part because it's really fucking cool. But I think you could also get away with adding in a second drop here after this section. You know, this can kind of just be like sort of like an interlude before you dive into another, second drop. But I really fucking I dig this. This is really cool. Um, yeah, fucking fire. Some definitely some Doom vibes here. Really nice intro, really cool organ. I'm loving all these sound selection here. Definitely, the arrangement here feels a little. I mean, it doesn't feel like a traditional kind of drum and bass sort of arrangement, but I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing either. It's definitely unique in its own way, which is really cool. Um, I'm loving the drops. The sub is very nice. Really cool melodic ideas and layers. Really nice kick and snare. I did note here that the snare gets lost in the second section, but maybe that's kind of like intentional, because it seems like there's kind of like a break section here before it dives into like a kind of more substantial piece. Like you have like this 8 bar section here that's very kind of meaty. This like center section which is a little bit more subdued and kind of like dialed back, and then you dive right into like I guess another kind of like drop section. But that's what I mean by this. The snare kind of the snare doesn't feel as substantial in that particular section as it does in this first 8 drop, the first 8 bars, and then this last third 8 bars. And again, that might be intentional. I don't necessarily. Yes. So yeah, it's intentional. Um, Something similar to. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a really cool idea. Again, it's not obviously it's not really like traditional kind of like arrangement, but I think it's still fucking work. It's still fucking cool. Um, I love the bass line change up right here. And then you've got like this like fucking saxophone, which is fucking crazy. I think it works really well. Overall sound design is excellent. I'm loving this breakdown. Definitely moody, and then you get like this kind of other bridge section that we already talked about. Feels like Doom, but I think you can definitely use this as like kind of like a build and get yourself back into one final drop here. Um, that would be cool. Um, Typically, drum and bass tracks aren't that long. They tend to be probably around this amount. But I think for the sake, if you were gonna kind of play this out live or whatever, I think just for the sake of energy and playing around with like um, kind of listeners' expectations, if I was hearing this live, I would definitely expect to hear some sort of last drop come in. That's just my feeling. Um, but overall, this is a fucking super dope idea. Very solid. Um, yeah, it's hard to headbang to 5/4. Yeah, I know what you mean. Um, yeah, it would be cool to hear something like this live though. Definitely like avant-garde, kind of really interesting, very unique. But yeah, very dope tune here. BMOC, very cool, very cool vibes. Definitely on that doom kick. Hell yeah, good job. All right, let's keep moving forward here. Do we got DJ Cast? Do 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 do. DJ Cast. DJ Cast going once. DJ Cast going twice. Okay. Back of the line. All right, Faram Amjad. I believe you're still here. Yeah. Just say what's up. Farron Amjad. Farron Amjad. Okay, there you are. Cool. All right. Farron Amjad is up next. Then we got Reese. Then we got Leonard Ellis. Then we got Dark and Glossy. Longboy, Chris Michael, Alexander. And then we just got one more submission here from Kneeboy. All right. Let's give this one a listen. Just be sure to stick around if you guys heard your name. Nice one, bruv. Yeah, that's what's cool. It feels like a just like a big wall of sound. Um, yeah, and it's kind of cool. Like, I mean, I would imagine like where you would play this out live. It feels like more of like a kind of like an after hours sort of vibe almost. Like a dark kind of warehouse, you know. That's kind of where I would imagine hearing something like this. But yeah, it's really cool. I like the sound selection. I'm digging the choices you're making. Um, and I think it's overall really cool idea. Um, I put here the vocal is cool, but it's a bit loud in the mix. And maybe there's a bit too much reverb on that vocal as well. Um, I think it's kind of the main thing that I'm getting here is that the main issue with this tune I think is just that there's too much stuff in the mid range, so it starts to get congested there. You have a lot of synths being played. You have the vocal, you have the bass, and a couple of other like kind of like synth and ear candy sounds, all kind of sitting in that mid range. So there's a lot of stuff going on there, which also kind of lends itself to this kind of idea of like a wall of sound, just like a lot of stuff going on. I think you could probably clean up some of that stuff in that mid range. I think the easiest way is to probably I would dial back the reverb on some of the synths as well as the vocal. Probably sidechain those reverbs as well, just so that they feel a little bit more like they're ducking, so it doesn't start to wash out so much. Um, the kick is very nice here. I think for the most part, your kick sub relationship is doing exactly what it should be doing. It's ducking the way it should. I think the sub is actually very nice here. We're getting a nice bass response, a nice low end response here. Crispy hats. The hats might be able to come up a little bit in the mix, I think. Um, Again, I think because of all the stuff going on in the mid range, in context, a lot of the stuff in the highs was getting lost, particularly those hats. Um, yeah, particularly most of the my feedback here is going to be mixing stuff. I think this tune all it really needs is a solid mixing session where you're kind of like dial in kind of like the levels on a lot of the things. Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff in the mid range that's congesting the mix, particularly these chords and the vocals. So yeah, just something to think about when you're going through here, and also like something to consider with if you just look at this waveform, there's not a whole lot going on dynamically. Even I can notice that there's a break build right here, but I think you could probably even dial that back a little bit more. You can probably use like some auto filters, some gain staging, just to kind of give you more of an impact, more of a contrast between your breakdowns and your drops. Give you a little bit more dynamic range. Something definitely to consider and think about. But overall, I think the idea is very solid. I like the sound selection, like the sound design. Bass response is very nice. I like the drums. I think the main thing here is just primarily just needs to be kind of like mixed down a little bit cleaner. Good job, Farron Amjad. Really thick tune here. All right, let's keep it going. Do we have Reese in the chat? Reese Rodriguez. Yeah, no problem, man. All right, let's do it. Nice, dude. This is a vibe. This is really groovy. It sounds like you're already getting ideas of what to do with this track. It is a little bit bare. It does get a little bit loopy. So definitely, I would recommend. I do agree with Alexander here. I think that the fucking M1 organ is fucking sick. You can definitely bring that in sooner, probably in the first drop. You could even kind of use this a similar melody. Maybe just use that same melody, but just simplify it in the first drop, and then just so that it starts to get a variation. You could just keep the melody in the second drop as it is, but just like simplify it in the first drop, so it's still playing something similar, but not so full force and stuff. Yeah, just an idea. Obviously, you could always go a vocal route, if you can find something that works and that fits. Um, Definitely always recommend either using your own vocal or finding a vocalist to kind of get on this. I think that would be cool. Um, I think you could even go either route of a female or male vocalist on this one. I think either would work, honestly. It definitely has, the kind of space for it. Um, and it doesn't sound like it's too much in a high register for most vocalists to handle this. Um, yeah, I think it's pretty dynamic overall. Um, let's go to my notes here. I dig the bass line. The bass line is fucking amazing. Really solid groove here. Loving the drums. Really cool hat pattern. It's like it's very swingy, very groovy. Um, yeah, it makes you kind of just want to tap along. Really nice kick and sub response. I think Alexander also said that maybe, um, yeah, probably you can sidechain the sub a little bit more, with the kick. Um, but here the drop does get a little bit loopy, but it sounds like you already recognize that. Try and break that up a little bit with adding in, either like I said earlier, using the a simplified melody with the M1, or just adding in some sort of melodic element there, something hooky. A vocal would be dope, of course, or it's just some other synth, something to kind of break up a little bit of the repetition. I think this is a very strong foundation for a track already. It sounds like you're kind of already getting ideas from the chat here, what to do next. Um, so yeah, I would say, the main thing is just try and get some more variations in here so it doesn't get as loopy. If you can find a vocal, I think the sound selection here is really great though. I think this is a very solid length for this track too. You wouldn't have to do much else as far as the arrangement. Maybe just add in like a little bit of a mix out at the end there, but that's about it. Yeah, main thing is just add in some more variations, and I think, you're gonna be in a good spot. Nice, good job, Reese. Dope tune here. All right, Leonard Ellis. We got Leonard Ellis. We got Dark and Glossy, Long Boy, Chris Michael, Alexander, and then Boy. Did I get any other submissions? Let's see. Oh, we got two more. Oh, Boy sent two. Boy, we're only doing one per person, just FYI. But yeah, stick around and we'll get to your tune here. Hell yeah, dude! Really, really interesting, unique sound design here. You put weird glass vibes. Yeah, it sounds like a glass tube is being, you know, played here. It's very, very interesting, very unique sound. Um, it seems that some of those glass plucks might be out of tune. I dig the vibe though, or mallet. Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. I think melodically, sometimes the melody that the glass tube is playing, boom 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 boom. I think it's only because the pitching on that. I don't know if the sound design is in audio or if it's in a synth. Because I know that if you pitch audio samples too much, you start to lose kind of the fidelity, the key that the original sample is in. You start to lose a little bit of the, I don't know. It just starts to fall out of key the more that you pitch it up and down. Um, so yeah, that's just something to think about. Make sure that your melody is in key, because part of it does seem to fall out a little bit. Yeah, and it particularly happens only when the note pitches down. Dun, 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 doo, 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 doo. Yeah, the detuning starts to get a little bit wonky. And obviously you are going for a kind of wonky sound design, but it's almost pushing the note too far out of key. But I digress. I think the idea is really cool. I think the sound design is very unique. Maybe just needs to be dialed in a little bit more. But I do dig the sound and the idea. Um, Overall, this is a very solid arrangement. I dig the drums. The kick is humongous. It's fucking thick. Very solid drums. I'm loving the groove here. Um, Really unique sound design. I like that the acid comes in too, kind of as like a compliment to the kind of mallet thing you got going on. And I noted here that I really love this second pre-drop. Yeah, again, when it pitches down, it starts to get a little bit out of key. So, yeah, just something to kind of consider and think about with this tune. I think overall the idea is very cool. It just needs to be kind of massaged and kind of dialed in a little bit more in regards to keeping the sound design in key. Yeah, that's all I got for you. I think this is a really cool idea though, Leonard Ellis. Good job on this tune here. You can go to sleep now. I think it's past your bedtime. I'll give you a massage. All right, we got Dark and Glossy up next, and then we got Long Boy, we got Chris Michael, we got Alexander, and we got Boy. Let's see, did we get any other submissions here? Young Choli, are you gonna submit anything over or what? All right, let's go with Dark and Glossy. Let's do it. Excuse me. Nice one. Nice one, bro. Yeah, lots of really cool ideas here. Um, I like the vocal a lot. The vocal's really cool. And I like the melodic idea to begin with. It's really groovy. It's really catchy. Um, Definitely very hooky. So it's really easy to kind of follow along and tap along to. Loving the intro synth. I'm loving the sound design on this particular synth here. Um, I think the only thing I would say that it does get a little bit loopy. I think the melodic idea is really good, um, but I do think it does get loopy. So maybe to kind of break up the variation, break up the repetitiveness. Excuse me, break up the repetitiveness. I would try and play around with a couple other sounds just to kind of give it some more variation. Um, and you can switch out the sound probably every 8 or 16 bars in the drop, just so that it kind of keeps fresh in the listener's mind. Really cool vocal and ear candy. I'm really digging the string here. This first build feels like it needs more energy. Um, and I would also recommend a little bit more of a contrast between the build and the drop here. You did a really good job of it on this second build, but not so much on the first build. It seems like the first build going into the first drop kind of just feels like a continuation. So it just feels like the intro is kind of just like continuing to go into the drop. You see, it feels like it kind of just like rolls into the drop there. So yeah, just something to consider. Something to consider there. Maybe a little bit more contrast. I would kind of build up the energy a little bit more, make it a little bit more drastic and kind of dramatic, and then you can kind of pull things out, a little bit of silence, and then go into the drop. I think you did a good job here on the second build up. Definitely a lot more contrast there, which is kind of more what I was thinking in the first build and drop there. Um, Very solid kick. Your clap definitely needs more power. The clap kind of gets lost in the mix, so we're not getting as much power out of it as we should. I can definitely hear the clap there, but it feels like it's dug underneath the mix. So what I would recommend is layering on a second clap or snare, just so it gives it a little bit more power and oomph, and it kind of cuts through the mix a little bit more. So yeah, I definitely hear that clap in there, but it's just kind of like it's sitting underneath the rest of the mix, so it needs to both come up and probably layer on a second clap just so it gives it a little bit more power. Um, One other thing I noted here, I would remove this. I would remove the string from the drop sections only because they feel like they're more like I do like the string. I'm gonna say keep the string obviously, but I would use it more for just the break in the build section. So obviously this intro, this second break, and then the outro, I would put the strings there, as opposed to putting the string in the drop, because it's a sustained note, so you're not getting a whole lot of stuff going on dynamically. It's not really moving around. It's kind of just staying there. So that's also kind of lending to the idea that this is kind of loopy because you have that one sustained note just going on consistently through the entirety of the drop. Um, so I think you have to have a little bit more dynamics. I think the baseline does a good job of adding in dynamics, but again, like I mentioned earlier, you want to kind of add in some variation on the sound design that'll kind of break up a little bit of the repetition. Um, really cool sound design on the drops. I did note here that there's this synth that comes in on the second break. I do like it, but I think it's a little bit too dry. So like, it just needs more processing, I think. Yeah, and like the melody that's playing there, it feels like it's not really associated with the main melody of the track. I would play a similar melody within the same key, or just a variation of the melody that you already have there, your main motif of the bass line. So play around with like that same motif, that same melody in this break section, with a different sound, obviously. Something that complements your main bass line. Something that feels very much within the same ballpark. I did also put here that this track is a little bit long. So I would consider kind of, trimming the fat a little bit, so to speak. Especially on the drop sections, you could probably get away with, chopping off maybe 8 bars on the first drop and then like 16 on the second drop. Because again, it does get a little bit loopy. So I think once you add in variations, naturally, some of this arrangement is gonna like fall off anyways. You kind of just want to get to the point, keep people engaged, keep the momentum moving forward, and then change things up a little bit. I also recommend here you can add some additional drum variations, some open hats, shakers, or rides, or all of the above, just to give you a little bit more variation. You can add in those as layers. You can just keep the drums as they are in the first 8 bars, and then the next 8 bars you add in a layer that has like shakers or something, or a layer that has an open hat, or a layer that has a ride in it. Yeah, just some ideas to kind of break up a little bit of the repetition. Adding in drum layers is a really easy way to do that. But obviously changing the sound design will also be another easy way to do that as well. But yeah, overall solid foundation. Obviously this tune needs a little bit of tweaks to it. You can kind of trim down the arrangement a little bit more, but overall I think the main idea is there. It just needs some refining. Good job, Dark and Glossy. All right. Longboy. Do we got Longboy still here? Longboy, Chris Michael, Alexander, and then Kneeboy. Longboy's here. All right.
Hey, sorry I missed your call. I was just calling you back to let you know that I love you and I miss you.
I know that I'm still alive, in my life, don't know that I've never had shit. I do my own role like Jamie, don't kick, man sick. Man, I go like I'm John Wick. I'm stuck in my head, I know it's a maze. I got the skills in the game like phase. I got you bigger than Nicolas Rage. Gon' try than Nicolas Cage. Still work minimum wage, but I'm a full string like a man Jim Page. Pull on my trick, I'm magic like Mage. I see no jail boss in strange ways. See no jail boss in strange ways. See no jail boss in strange ways. See no jail boss, see no jail boss. I know that I'm still alive, in my life, don't know that I've never had shit. I'm stuck in my head, I know it's a maze. I got the skills in the game like phase. I got you bigger than Nicolas Rage. Gon' try than Nicolas Cage. Still work minimum wage, but I'm a full string like a man Jim Page. Pull on my trick, I'm magic like Mage. I see no jail boss in strange ways. See no basti straight way. See no deal basti straight way. See no deal basti, no deal basti.
Nice one, bruv. Yeah, it definitely gives me some reminiscent vibes of MPH for sure. With the chords and stuff. A lot of the really cool kind of like bass tones, mid bass stuff that's going on. Really cool like call response motifs you got going on. Yeah. Where are my notes here? I funny thing is I recognize that intro, with the voicemail. Um, it's definitely a meme. I've seen that before. I've heard and seen that before. Um, it's very funny. But the vocal here, the vocal here is really cool though. I think the main vocal you got going on. But I do think the vocal is a bit dry, so I would probably add on a little bit of reverb, a little bit of chorus. Not too much reverb. It doesn't need to be drowned out, but yeah, just something to kind of give it a little bit of depth. Yeah, the one with the cars taking off. Oh my god, fucking hilarious. Really cool sound design in the drops though. I'm really digging the sound design. My only thing with the sound design here is that there's kind of a lot going on. I mean, number one, I think a lot of the mid bass sounds need to kind of be balanced out a little bit. Dynamically, they're kind of like all over the place. Some sounds are a little bit louder than others. I think the actual motif, like the melodies that you're playing, are fucking solid. But I think it just mix wise, just dynamically, they're a little bit imbalanced. So some sounds are louder than others, so they feel kind of mismatched. Yeah, and that was another thing I was gonna mention is that the mix, as far as mix wise, you do have a lot of stuff going on. So you have both the chords that are playing, as well as these kind of like more staccato kind of bass notes. So you might want to get. It might just be something as simple as doing like a call response. So you could do the staccato, legato chords, you know, so that way you're getting that way the sounds aren't kind of fighting for the same space, and the sounds have a lot more, you know, space to shine on their own. Let's see. Yeah, I think that'll work. I think if you do like the staccato, dun 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 dun, or you can do dun dun, just call response basically, staccato notes, and then you do like the chords, or you could just do all staccato notes for like 4 bars, and then do the chords. That way you know they're not kind of, you know, layered on top of each other, because that makes the mix substantially more difficult to manage, because there's a lot more stuff that's going on. But if you kind of simplify your baseline motif, your main melodic motif, I think that'll make things a lot easier, and it'll be a lot easier to follow for the listener too. You know, it's always better to err on the side of more simplistic ideas, because, you know, for the average listener, it's going to be a lot easier for them to kind of latch on, when the idea is a lot more simpler. But if you have a lot of like stuff going on, you have like a staccato motif layered on top of like chords and stuff, it gets a little bit kind of dicey on which idea to follow. So if you kind of, you know, lead the listener on and kind of simplify things, you know, kind of basically just handhold, I think it'll be it'll be a lot easier for you to manage this mix down. But yeah, definitely try to do that. Staccato, then legato. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Yeah, I think that'll work. So you're kind of doing it already. I think you just need to kind of dial it in a little bit more. So I wouldn't have the staccato notes playing at the same time as the chords. So there are spaces where you can just like have the chords play by themselves, and then have the kind of more staccato notes play. So you can kind of lead with the staccato and then end a phrase with the chords. I think that would be the move. Yeah, you could try using a track spacer, but again, I think it would be better to kind of simplify the melodic idea. That way you can kind of dial in on the mix a little bit easier. And like MPH does this really well too. Is like he kind of simplifies his bass lines. So you kind of have that kind of call response thing going on, and it's a lot easier to do it. On-screen celebration. All right, what else did I put here on my notes? Yeah, main thing here is the mix down. I also think your sidechain could kind of cut through a bit heavier. I think the drums are very nice though. I think the drums are pretty well balanced. Kick, snare, hats, all that stuff. The main thing is just like the bassline stuff. I think the bassline and the main melodic idea need to kind of be dialed in, and then a little bit more processing on the vocal. I think the length of this tune is pretty solid. I would probably just add on a little bit more on the end here, the tail end, as far as this second drop, and then just like an outro and a mix out kind of thing going on. But yeah, that's about it. I think that's pretty much all this track would need. I think it's a very solid idea, and I think you should definitely kind of develop it a little bit further and finish it. I think it's a very solid tune. Chuck would be proud. Young Kelly. The man's Kelly. All right. Yeah, good job, Longboy, man. This is really dope. I'm digging this. All right. We're almost to the end here. We got Chris Michael, we got Alexander, and then we got Kneeboy. Chris Michael, are you here? Oh, we got one from Choli, too. Chris Michael, are you here in the chat? Chris Michael. Do. Chris Michael. With some dubstep. Chris Michael. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Sick. Yeah, I'm actually going to be out in New Mexico in July. I'm playing a show in Santa Fe. But yeah, I'll probably be there the whole weekend. So I'm sure I'll be in Albuquerque as well. But yeah, let's dive into your tune here. Nice one, bruv. Yeah, dude, very big track. Definitely, I'm definitely getting the whole Dead Mouse strobe vibes here too, with those. Dude, all the synth work in here is very nice. Lots of big saws, nice chords, really cool vocals. I think the vocal processing is very well done here too as well. Sound design is fucking dope. Really nice saws. Definitely has Dead Mouse vibes. Very nice build. Really nice energy. Overall, I think this is a very solid arrangement too. Huge drop, but I did note here that I feel like the sub could be heavier. I'm getting a lot of sub from the kick. Kick and snare is actually phenomenal. It's very nice. It's very clean. Yeah, if you would like to submit a track for feedback, you're more than welcome to. Yeah, Chris Michael. Yeah, I think I'm getting a lot of sub from the kick, but not a whole lot of, you know, like just like a sub, like a dedicated sub. So maybe that just needs to be boosted a little bit more. Everything else sounds really fucking balanced though. All the synths, your sidechain is doing exactly what it should be doing. It's cutting through. Your snare's cutting through. Sound design is very nice. I'm digging this second breakdown here with the vocoding and the vocal. I think it's a really nice touch. Definitely it still again lends itself to Dead Mouse vibes, which is really cool. And I love the second drop. Yeah, Alexander said something about rhythm Rhythm guns would go hard on that second drop. I mean, I don't know what rhythm guns are. I don't I don't listen to too much bass music, so I'm pretty out of the loop there. But definitely, you know, if it's something that's kind of cool and then kind of fits, you know, fuck it, why not? Give it a shot. I do like a lot of these drum fills that you got going on as well. But overall, this is a super fucking solid idea. Yeah, I would want a little bit more sub in this, in the drop sections. And I did... One other thing I might do mix-wise is that these snares in the first build, they do get a little bit too much. There's too much on the top end, I think. So they do get a little bit kind of piercing. Triplet type basses. Yeah. So like right here. Yeah. it starts to kind of like stab the ear a little bit. So there's something in there in that particular sound, that snare build, that has a little bit of I don't know, I want to say it's probably above anywhere between 6 and 18K or something like that. Usually 18K is like the problem. 15 to 18K is usually the problem. But yeah, there's something there that kind of just can be kind of cleaned up a little bit. But yeah, I think this is a really fucking dope tune. Good job, Chris Michael. Hell yeah. Hopefully I see you in New Mexico in July. I'll be there July 12th. I'm playing in Santa Fe. All right. Good job, Chris Michael. Up next, we got Alexander, then Kneeboy, then Choli. All right. And then we got some reggae from Menthol. Bum, 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 bum. Tarantula. All right. Let's give this a listen here. Nice one, bruv. What did the chat have to say? Oh, Alexander says the vocals sound too much like AI because the getting rid of the background vocal was a bit. Bouncy tune got me vibing, loving the drum groove. Thanks, chat. Okay, this slaps. Yeah, dude, I'm digging this. This is a really dope tune. You know what's funny? The bass line oddly reminds me of Michael Jackson Thriller. Bow bow. Bow bow. Yeah. And with a lot of the kind of like vocal kind of pops, kind of has a reminiscent kind of sound of Michael Jackson Thriller. It's a very, very interesting. I don't know how much it sounds like it, but it's pretty damn. You know, it's not the same obviously, but it definitely has, you know, some echoes of it. Maybe, you know, or maybe I'm just fucking crazy. Any hoops. This is a really dope tune. Really nice groove. Really cool vocal. I wasn't sure what you were kind of referring to when you were saying that the vocals sound too much like AI. I mean, I think they sound cool. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with them. There wasn't anything that was particularly hooky with the vocal though. So, I mean, that's maybe something that I would kind of dial in, is just kind of focus on a single phrase as a hook, and then maybe use some of the other kind of flow as like, you know, as stuff to kind of build around. But I think the main thing is here is to kind of like lock in on a specific phrase that's just going to be the main hook for this track. That's probably one thing I would dial in. I think everything else sounds pretty fucking fantastic. I think the bassline groove is very solid. The drums are very nice. A lot of the layers are really fucking cool. A lot of the synths, I think they all work really well. So sound design, sound selection is very well done. You do a good job of adding in layers and keeping things interesting. Overall, the arrangement's very solid. Yeah, that's probably the only thing that I thought of, is that maybe the vocal just kind of needs to be dialed in a little bit more. And then, yeah, just hone in and focus in on a hook, on a singular phrase that'll kind of just, you know, get stuck in the listener's mind and kind of, you know, make them want to come back for more, you know. Yeah. But overall, very solid, very, very solid tune here. I'm digging the groove and the vibes. Good job, Alexander. All right. Do we got Kneeboy? Kneeboy in the chat. We got a tune from Quacks as well. Kneeboy, then Choli. Kneeboy still here? Kneeboy. I don't think Kneeboy's here. Okay. Well, we got Choli up next. Then we got Menthol Slim. And then we got Quacks. All right, let's do it. Nice one, bro. Digging the melodic ideas here. This definitely feels more along the lines of like liquid drum and bass as opposed to like, I don't know, just like regular drum and bass or jump up or something like that. There's not any like crazy, wild, Reese's or mid basses or anything like that. But it has some like really solid melodic ideas. I dig the sound design and dig the sound selection. My only piece of feedback is I would probably in the drop sections I would probably swap out that kind of whistly synth for something else. I almost would like to hear a piano, honestly, almost, especially with like a lot of these kind of like ambient noises. You have like the rain going on, you have the thunder. It almost feels like this track can kind of lend itself to a piano. I think a piano will work really well. It'll add some like kind of melancholic moodiness to it too, which I think would match kind of like the ambient sort of sound you got going on. But yeah, definitely play around with that. I think a piano would work really well. Good old grand piano. But yeah, overall very solid idea. I think melodically I don't think anything needs to change. It's just sound design stuff, really. Hell yeah, brother. I'm digging the vibes here. Good job, young Choli. Excuse me. Menthol Slim, you still here? Made it in one night? Dude, that's the best, man. I love it when a track just comes together that easily. All right, Menthol Slim and then Quacks, and then we're calling it a night.
Whoa, 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 yeah. There is no love in the heart anymore. Yeah, the people them gone astray. No love in their heart anymore. They don't care about anyone. They care about themselves. Whoa, the Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand while I make the enemy down under his feet. Whoa, there is no love in their heart anymore.
Righteous, cause no love in them heart, no love in them heart. They wake up every morning with them dirty thought. Love in them heart, no love in them heart. I wake up every morning coming with them blood bath. Me come first and them a run come last. And if them want to know say with them dirty thought, righteousness in my heart. Consciousness is my thought. Cause he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty I. Live unto Jah Rastafari, who is higher than I. Cause them no love in them heart, no love in them heart. Coming with them little dirty thought. Coming in them heart, love in them heart. Me see them long time that the Rex him a go talk. And make the whole of them know we coming from part. We coming from the Father who give up our wrath. Want them for know say we no want no bloodbath. And no love in them heart, love in them heart. Righteousness is when they start. Righteousness is never part. No love in them heart, love in them heart. Yes, I done the Rex and tread the ranking of the talk. Teach us a righteousness. Cause he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty I.
Them gone. I don't know where them gone, but I know that the people gone. Say they gone astray, they gone everywhere. I don't know where them gone, but them gone. They don't have none love in their heart anymore. You got to watch them, then turn hypocrite and backbiter. You got to watch them, they are critical people, yeah now. Watch them, just watch them. I don't know where them gone, but them gone.
don't know it from the start. Youth are youth nowadays. Them living a life that's wrong.
Nice one. Yeah, the reality is, like, I don't get a whole lot of reggae on here. This is kind of new to me, but I don't mind it. I think reggae is really cool. It's a really dope sound. So my main piece of feedback here, I like pretty much all the instrumentation that you got going on here. Obviously, the sub is very nice. The kind of more rhythm guitar, yeah, that sub line is very nice. It's really easy to kind of follow along, and the vocals are pretty dope too. I think mix wise, the vocals, the first vocal kind of sits on top of the mix, whereas the second vocal that comes in kind of fits really, really seamlessly in the mix down. So, I mean, I think whoever's doing the mixing kind of needs to match the two vocals, so they kind of feel like they're seamlessly fitting in the same sort of space. That's definitely something to consider. But I think the main thing for me with this track is that I think the structure and the arrangement kind of needs to be dialed in a little bit more, only because it was difficult for me to wrap around what the chorus was in this track. I think structurally, it needs to be a little bit more obvious to the listener when we're kind of going into a verse section as opposed to like a chorus section. That way, it's kind of like a lot easier to follow along. I think the actual melodic ideas are very solid, and I think the vocal, like the lyrics, are very solid too. I think it's just the structure. It needs to kind of just be arranged out so it's a lot easier to follow. That's pretty much the only major piece of feedback that I have, because it feels like it's just one solid kind of like stream of consciousness idea almost, as opposed to like a traditional kind of song. So yeah, I think that's kind of the main thing I got going on here, is that the structure needs to kind of just be dialed in a little bit more. But I think melodically everything is there. Nice. For sure. And again, like, obviously take my feedback with a grain of salt. I don't listen to a whole lot of reggae, so you know, maybe that's kind of like the vibe and the what happens with reggae, but yeah, I mean, just from a songwriting standpoint, yeah, the structure kind of needs to be dialed in. Hell yeah. Good job, Menthol Slim. All right, we got a tune from Quacks here. Quacktastic. And Vermilion. I guess Vermilion, we're going to do one last tune for Vermilion. Okay, Vermilion's for sure going to be the last one because I'm fucking tired. All right, let's do it. that's fucking sick. Yeah, dude. The reality is I have no notes for this track. I think it's this one sounds done. The mix sounds very clean. It sounds like you've been definitely working on your mixing. Because like some of your previous tunes, I think they were really like low end and mid heavy, but this sounds very well balanced. I think the arrangement is super solid. Very nice sound design. Very easy to follow here. Very nice variations. Loving the mix down and the mastering. Overall, yeah. The reality is I have no notes for this. I think this is very well done. Hell yeah. And the fact that I was fucking headbanging over here, I mean, that says a lot because I don't really listen to a whole lot of dubstep or bass music. So yeah, that's high praise. All right, we're gonna do Vermilion, and that's it for the night. Nice one, bruv. Obviously, this is a work in progress. It's just the beginning of an idea. I'm loving the sound design, that very kind of legato, kind of very deep sort of Reese. I guess it's not really a Reese bass. It's more like a saw or something. But it's a really dope sound design. Really dope mid bass. I think overall it sounds pretty fucking clean. I agree, Young Quacks. It sounds very clean. Yeah, this is a strong foundation for a tune. You're gonna convert me to a bass head. I mean, really the only kind of bass music that I really love is drum and bass. That's really the only thing that I kind of like really gravitate towards. But I mean, I do appreciate bass music overall. I think the sound design is just fucking crazy. Yeah, I think this is a very solid idea. Definitely keep doing what you're doing. Keep developing this out. Go out into. It looks like this is a very short drop so far. I feel like you could probably do a little bit more, another like 8 bars of something kind of weird, and then transition out into a second break, and then obviously you go into another build into another drop. But I think the reality is like you're on a really strong path here. Just keep doing what you're doing. Sound selection's nice. Sound design is very well done. Vocals very dope. Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. Good job, Vermilion. Indeedeth. All right. Well, with that, that's the last one of the night. If you guys are around, come catch Choli and myself and a bunch of others. We're playing in After Hours this Saturday in downtown LA. We're doing Space Taco tomorrow if you guys want to go out to Pomona. Both of these are free shows. And then we have a compilation coming out this Friday on Thick Freakness. Yeah, hope you guys I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday night. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Hopefully we'll see you out at shows and stuff. Yeah, and follow me on all the things. Follow.